Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Television. We have all kinds of discussion about TNA Impact Wrestling going live starting this Thursday night. All the latest from WWE Raw, Smackdown, Ring of Honor, and including yesterday's or last week's Impact Wrestling. That all along with Star of the Week. The Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Saturday night starts right here, right now on My 24 Milwaukee. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson here sitting alongside David Herro, and welcome to all of you joining us here on My 24 Milwaukee. Let's go right into this week's top story. Big news broken last week by TNA Impact Wrestling that they are taking the Thursday night broadcast on Spike TV live starting this week, actually. Big, huge move for the company. One of the smartest things they could have done. And when you look at the things TNA has tried over the last few years, and the things that have worked, the things that haven't worked, this is the one thing they haven't done. And this is an announcement that will the announcement actually indicating that starting next week, going through the summer months, so obviously an experiment, but this is seemingly the answer. This is going to make Impact Wrestling destination television. It's smarter than taking the show on the road. It's smarter than adding another big name to the roster. It's smarter than another acquisition or another earth-shattering change to the company. This now makes TNA Impact Wrestling new and fresh, because you're going to have to tune in to see what happened as opposed to tuning in to only validate what you already have thought about what you read happened, in my opinion.
You know, Damien, if we're going to do any TNA segment right, there's only one way we can do a TNA segment. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
Well, I mean, we're going to have to do the deal.
What deal is that? I don't gamble.
You know.
Oh, are you kidding me? We're having serious discussion here about a huge announcement by TNA, and you need this gimmick. You don't even hold it like him.
Well, if I hold it like him, then you can't hear me, so I'll hold it here. Listen, you know what?
Could you hold it like him? Because I'd rather not hear you.
TNA Impact Wrestling, yes, they're going live. Yes, they're going to be on Thursday nights, which is their time spot. They're going an hour early, 7 o'clock now.
Great point. Yes, they are.
Which is very important, which is huge. My question for you, though, Damian Nelson, is this. When the person is flipping through the channels on Thursday nights, are they going to stop and watch TNA now because it's live? If they didn't stop before?
I think so. But no. There are a lot of people who don't watch, who read spoilers or read results and choose not to tune in. Right there, they're going to build their audience. For those flipping, yes, they need to say this is live. They need to bug their program, Impact Wrestling, which is put that little logo on the bottom of the screen. They need to say it's live. There's a reason WWE does that, because of the flippers. Oh, look, something's happening right now.
My concern is that I don't know if the TNA Impact Wrestling roster is ready for this. Yes, you have Hulk Hogan. Yes, you have Sting. You have Jeff Hardy, Rob Van Dam, and Mr. Anderson that have all been a part of the Monday night, live television process. 70% of this Impact Wrestling roster has never been a part of live TV. And
they have. Impact's been live a couple of times, and they do a pay-per-view every month live.
Right, but okay. Now that brings me to my next point. The talent may be able to pull it off and do a absolutely tremendous job. It's not the talent I'm that concerned about. It's their TV production crew. How many times in the past...
Have you watched Impact lately?
Yes, I have, but it's edited show right now. How many times during the TNA Impact Wrestling pay-per-views have they missed things? Have they panned out when they should have zoomed in? That's my concern, is that with them going live, it may actually expose this company for not being ready for live TV. And with that being said, how much do they say it's going to cost to have live Impact?
It's in 6 figures probably every week.
Okay. Why wouldn't they take that money and put it into their marketing and promotions team? to get the word out
That's a
about
step.
Live Impact.
That's definitely a step they should be focusing on.
I don't know.
Get another billboard in Times Square.
I don't know if going live during the summer is the answer. I think it has potential to be extremely entertaining, and we know we're big fans of TNA Impact Wrestling here. We want to see them do well, but I'm not sure if now is the right time to do something like this.
If not now, then when?
Maybe in the fall. Maybe after the first of the year. Attendance is down. TV ratings are usually down in the summertime. People are out doing things.
Yeah, but this is a Hail Mary. They're moving up an hour.
Full of grace, because I don't know. This should not be the Hail Mary.
They're moving up an hour. They're going live.
They're saving a
this
ton
is
of
huge.
payroll on Ric Flair being gone. Now they're going to take that money and put it somewhere. Listen, TNA Impact Wrestling, listen, I want you to do well. I want you to succeed.
Doesn't sound like it.
I do, but I don't know if this is the right decision for them. I really don't.
Okay, let's say SmackDown went live every Friday night. Would it be a good move for them?
It's completely different.
But would it be a good move for them?
Sure, that brand is been developed, it's been built. It matters more.
What's the difference?
What's different is SmackDown and Raw they're not in the red. Okay? It's a $1 billion company. They're not struggling, on payroll and all the other. They draw more than 4, 5, 600 people at a house show.
But this is, in my opinion, simply.
You need to walk before you run.
They've been walking for 10 years. They've been walking for 10. They've never done this.
I have been accused of being the TNA apologist. This is the one time I'm disagreeing with what they're doing. I don't think it's what's best for the company at this time.
Wow, fascinating.
Well,
so what will equal success?
What will equal success is to get public awareness about the product. Let people know what TNA Impact Wrestling is. Get the word out there. Market, promote, advertise.
Someone tweeted RVD, who arguably is a man who is for himself more so than TNA. Where have you been? He said, I'm in TNA Wrestling. The other person said, what is that? He said, Google it.
See? Exactly. How many times have we talked to Kevin Nash a few times. He walks through the airport. Hey, Kev, where have you been? Well, I was in TNA for the last 7 years. Oh, Thursday nights on Spike. It happens to everybody. They have no public awareness of their product.
We're going to leave you with your mic in your hand as we wrap this segment up. And Impact Wrestling, as I said, does go live this upcoming Thursday.
My mic, it's not going to be in your hand.
We are got a lot more to talk about, including the results from this week's WWE Raw, SmackDown from last night, and this past Thursday's Impact Wrestling, along with his Star of the Week and Ring of Honor Wrestling. This is the Pro Wrestling Report, prime time, Saturday night on My 24 Milwaukee.
There's only one place to get the latest from pro wrestling, including the only place to get 100% verified wrestling news. Watch or listen to all of our latest TV and radio broadcasts on demand and get caught up on wrestling news between episodes. PWRshow.com is the cleanest, friendliest, and most fan-friendly source for wrestling news on the web.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime television, Saturday night here on My 24 Milwaukee. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Herro, and it's time to go into this week's WWE Raw report. And if you watched Raw this past Monday night, you saw that opening segment that we talked about briefly on Wednesday's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report primetime. The Big Show is back. John Cena is obnoxious. Johnny entertains, but Cena eventually gets knocked out by the Big Show.
Monday Night Raw, they're following up a pretty solid pay-per-view, Over the Limit, and John Cena comes out with no emotion whatsoever. He lost. He doesn't understand why. He's back to his monotone, boring promos, interviews. John Cena needs to pick it up a notch.
A notch or several?
Well, even one notch is better than what he's got right now.
On Wednesday, you sat here and said he's got a lot going on. He's got a lot on his mind.
He does. I mean, he's going through which will be a very public divorce, and I'm sure he has a lot on his mind, and now it's out there in the open. Everyone knows his own business, and I feel bad for the guy for that reason right there. But let's face it, John Cena, you're showing up to work, you're entertaining millions.
And millions?
Well, no, that's somebody else that does that. Make it believable. Make us want to invest that you really are that guy?
Well, we do know that it will be a matchup between The Big Show and John Cena at WWE No Way Out, and a lot of people have talked about how this match has no appeal to them at all.
No, it has no appeal because we've seen, it's almost like going back to John Cena and Randy Orton again. How many times did you see it? John Cena and Edge, John Cena and Triple H, John Cena and Shawn Michaels. The one John Cena match we haven't seen yet that I want to see is John Cena versus Undertaker. That's the match that...
Maybe it's being saved, held.
Well, it could very well be, but right now, Big Show and John Cena is not that eventful. So they better have one hell of an undercard if they want to sell that No Way Out pay-per-view.
WWE Over the Limit was this past Sunday on pay-per-view, a solid pay-per-view effort up until the last match. You can go to our website, pwrshow.com, and check out our full review of WWE Over the Limit. Right now, a full hour's worth of discussion on that pay-per-view along with all the results. But one thing that happened during that John Cena and John Laurinaitis matchup was not once but twice, a 10-second clock was started and John Cena put John Laurinaitis into the STF. Well, on Monday night, John Cena had a match with David Otunga. And in not one, not two, but just 3 seconds, David Otunga tapped out to the STF after Johnny on Sunday endured it for a total of 20 seconds. What does that say?
But Johnny had to, because if he taps out, he loses his job.
And David Otunga didn't want to win the match?
Well, of course he did, but hey, he's got his fiance at home waiting for him. He's got a baby boy on his lap. David Otunga is a Harvard graduate, which means he's smart. He's going to live to fight another day, whereas Johnny Ace...
3 seconds versus 10 seconds. Johnny Ace, who hasn't wrestled a match in how long, can endure the STF
Johnny Ace would have lost his job. He had to not tap. Oh, how,
Tyler Rex, Titus O'Neil, Kurt Hawkins, Darren Young.
Individual that got in the wedgie of doom at Blizzard Brawl and tapped within 2 seconds.
I lasted longer than 10 seconds.
We will have to find that tape again.
Tyler Rex, Titus O'Neil, Kurt Hawkins, Darren Young all get some time on Raw with a John Cena beatdown. A little surprising. See them on Raw.
Well, they have to. They need to introduce these other talents because they're going to have 3 hours to fill.
And hopefully
Wait. Kurt Hawkins, right?
Yeah.
That was Zack Ryder's former tag team partner.
Hawkins and Ryder.
Hawkins on Raw, Zack Ryder. Was he even on Superstars this week?
No, he's on YouTube.
Wow.
Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk is definitely on for round 2 after what we saw. I guess this time it was Daniel Bryan tapping out to the Anaconda Vice of CM Punk.
I think they dropped the ball on Monday Night Raw by having Punk get the better of Daniel Bryan by putting him in his Anaconda Vice after Kane beat him with the chair. I think that takes some of the luster off having 2 guys that was very uncertain as to which way that match could have gone. I think they ruined it, but they got a month now to fix it.
Chris Jericho is interested now in getting his hands on Randy Orton. As a matter of fact, he got his hands on him this past Monday night. Clearly, those two are going to be mixing it up very soon.
2 guys that really have been going nowhere fast since Royal Rumble. I mean, yes, Jericho got the WrestleMania match with Punk. He has yet to win a big match since returning to the company. Randy Orton has been just everywhere but anywhere on the Smackdown brand. Both guys actually need each other to have a meaningful match.
You can find out a lot more about our thoughts on this past Monday's WWE Raw by checking out our weekly radio episode called PWR Monday Night Meltdown, which is live each and every Monday night, except for this holiday Monday coming up, but be that as it may, you can catch it archived at pwrshow.com. It's now time to talk about this past Thursday's TNA Impact Wrestling, and it was open fight night again, David Herro. This time, Hulk Hogan makes the matchup between the TNA World Champion Bobby Roode and AJ Styles. Bobby Roode defeats AJ Styles, and Bobby Roode celebrates the longest single reign of a TNA World Champion. He is now that man who can claim that fame.
They have done a great job of building Bobby Roode every week. He has beaten every top guy in that company. He's beaten Sting, Jeff Hardy, Mr. Anderson, Rob Van Dam. He's done it, James Storm. He has done a fantastic job of now showing the world that he belongs to have the TNA gold around his waist.
Slow burn, credibility, time, patience, perseverance.
When you don't hotshot stuff, when you give things time to build and to marinate, and then you're going to get something fantastic. And that's what they got right now with Bobby Roode. They have a guy that can lead this company for the next 6 months to a year as their world champion.
Well over 210 days, Bobby Roode has been the champion, beating out the next longest single championship reign of AJ Styles. Ironic that those two had the matchup this past Thursday on Impact. And in case you were wondering, because the math does seem a little weird, Kurt Angle had 5 different championship reigns for a total of 463 days. So, you know, the concept or the belief that TNA's champions were always cast-offs, if you will. The fact that Bobby Roode, now a TNA-born star, has the single longest reign of any champion is fantastic.
You know what the cool thing is, though, that TNA's been doing lately on their TV?
What's that?
Is they've been giving backstory. Like last week when they had Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe, throughout the show they built up to that match the history. Much like how they showed the history of AJ Styles being the TNA World Champion this past week. They're making sense. They are reintroducing their fan base to their past history.
One thing that may not have made all the sense in the world was Bully Ray attacks Abyss's brother, Joseph Parks. Where was Abyss?
Okay. Now, if you think about it,
I did.
Abyss and Joseph Parks, it's almost kind of like Superman and Clark Kent. You never really see the same two guys in the same place.
Oh my.
Just saying.
Wow.
Could be interesting.
What was also interesting was the return of Sting this past Thursday night on Impact. And we found out that next week, live on Impact, Sting versus Bobby Roode in a lumberjack matchup, David.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting.
It's like saying breathtaking, Seinfeld reference.
Why Sting?
Why not? Well, they're going to be live. Sting is recognizable. One of the most popular stars.
Yes, he is. But they've already had several matches. I don't know. Maybe they could do. You know what? Maybe they have another match with Rob Van Dam or Jeff Hardy. I think Jeff Hardy means more than Sting for the live audience.
Next week, live on Impact, they need to have a lot of Jeff Hardy. They need to have a lot of Rob Van Dam. They need to have a lot of Kurt Angle. They need to have a lot of Sting, a lot of Hogan, even probably
Robbie E.
No, I'm just because you're talking about the Flippers on Wednesday night.
Yes.
Not Mitt Romney, but the Flippers on Wednesday night. And in order to capture them, you got to have those recognizable faces on TV.
I agree, but then also if you have someone like the extremely jacked up Thor in Big Rob Terry, who's not going to stop and want to check out that guy? He's a freak of nature.
Sure, very true. Well, also what is true is Alex Shelley has departed TNA Wrestling, and late breaking news that we have since confirmed: Ric Flair also gone from TNA Wrestling as of now.
Right, both guys gone. Alex Shelley couldn't work out his contract deal, which is amazing because didn't they just bring back the machine guns?
And quite frankly, Shelley was gone within 2 weeks of that.
Yeah.
It's just breaking now, by the way.
And Ric Flair being gone with TNA, I think it's the best for both parties involved because Ric Flair has not helped that company one bit since he's been there. He's cashed a big paycheck. Ric Flair, listen, I promote local shows. I promote shows all over the place. I've talked about bringing Ric Flair in for events. Friends of mine in the business have said, I don't want to deal with that. Ric Flair is a handful right now. Let him do his own thing.
But let's just say this about Ric Flair. Everything you've heard about him
is true. Absolutely.
And that's his life. It's not a gimmick.
So, I mean, I think if TNA Impact Wrestling wants to get things on the right path and turn things around, you're going to have to lose certain guys like Ric Flair.
That's this week's TNA Impact Wrestling Report, and there's still so much still to come here on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time this week, including a look back at WWE Smackdown from this past Friday.
Hold on, have you seen this stuff yet?
What are you talking about?
Well, on Wednesday night, we had the deal where we challenged our audience to do their own.
Oh, yeah. Wednesday, we're looking to hear from you as to.
Wow, have you seen some of these people? I mean, look at that. I mean, she's cute, but there's no way that could ever happen. That will never air on TV.
Why is there a cup in there?
Yeah.
We're also going to talk about Ring of Honor, ladies and gentlemen. All that still to come, along with David Herro, Star of the Week, here on the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime, Saturday night. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. And really, you can't, we're on television here, David. You can't be, give me this. You can't, no. And by the way, after what you did with the iPad, you're not, that's being kept here at the studio.
That's corporate company property.
It's time to talk about this week's WWE Smackdown, which was just last night on Sci-Fi, and we have a brand new #1 contender who will face Sheamus at No Way Out. His name is Alberto Del Rio.
But you already knew that.
Actually, I didn't know it till last night.
ADR finally back where he belongs. One of the top guys on SmackDown. Him and Sheamus are going to have a very, very entertaining match.
And not aware of what stipulation that match made. You know, a lot of people are spreading rumors that No Way Out's going to be an all-cage pay-per-view, which could be the case, by the way. But you'd think they maybe would have said something about that by now.
I like Del Rio's chances in a cage match.
Well, it was the triple threat match in the main event, how Alberto Del Rio became the #1 contender. And I think you really have to thank Daniel Bryan, who came in and distracted Kane.
You know, ADR...
But that's okay, right? Yeah. They didn't need that.
He really didn't, because ADR is a world-class athlete.
Speaking of world-class athletes, I was so relieved that the Save Cody campaign worked. And Cody Rhodes, after saying he was going to be taking time off, or at least giving that indication this past Monday night on Twitter, was back on SmackDown last night, and he wants his Intercontinental Championship back. Hashtag Save Cody. Let's keep hope alive.
Christian comes back, wins
Gets a match with Hunico.
No. He comes back, wins the big battle royal on the pay-per-view, defeats Cody on the pay-per-view.
It was a fluke. Cody wasn't prepared.
And has a successful title defense on SmackDown.
Against Hunico.
What's the difference? It's still a win is a win is a win.
Hunico's no Cody Rhodes.
No, he's not. Of course he's not. He doesn't look nothing like Cody Rhodes.
He does look a little bit like Sin Cara, who's going to be back next week on SmackDown.
Yes, you know what though? But
wellness policy, injury.
Christian coming back as a babyface was the right call for the SmackDown brand. They're kind of heel heavy on that side of the show. So I think Christian, you know, I liken Christian to being the finishing school for Cody Rhodes. Cody is there. He's at star level. He's upper mid-card level. Having a program with Christian is only going to make him better, one of the best hands in the entire company. But that's if he can.
It's rare that you give, and then there it is. There's the butt. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
If he wants to learn, if he wants to listen. I mean, Christian's been in the business 15 years now?
Long time.
You know, since '96. He's had great matches. He's been a world champion, a tag team champion, an IC champion, a US champion. He's been champion everywhere he's gone. He can help Cody Rhodes go to that next level.
Santino Morello defeats Ricardo Rodriguez in a matchup this past Friday night, stemming from their altercation this past Monday on Raw.
I was hoping that Santino was going to get Ricardo rolled. You know what I'm saying? You know what? It's entertaining. Both guys did a fantastic job. How great would it have been if Ricardo would have left the U.S. champion?
But that would not be the case. And Ryback defeats a couple of newcomers in a squash match.
No, they're not newcomers. That's enhancement talent. That's the local guys.
Some people calling him Ryberg. Is it too close?
It's extremely close, but it's dead on. I mean, his mannerisms are ridiculously similar to Goldberg.
Who was better, Gilbert or Ryback, being Goldberg?
I think Gilbert nailed the character better than Ryback does.
Because he had sparklers?
Sparklers, the whole thing. But you know what? Give Ryback some time. He's going to need it. He's going. You know, they're obviously doing some big things with him. And he's going to be getting a. Boy, can you imagine Ryberg and Cody? That's coming. You know it is.
That's this week's WWE Smackdown report. And just before we took air here on My 24 Milwaukee, Ring of Honor Wrestling. Coming off the heels of their big Border Wars event a couple of weeks ago, where Kevin Steen became the new champion. Well, Kevin Steen now saying he's injured.
Well, of course, if he's smart, it's one way of keeping
He suffered a concussion, that is true.
Well, yes, but what better way of holding on to the title by not defending it? Making the people hate you that much more, so when you finally get in the ring, it means more.
Ring of Honor comes to Milwaukee. It's a huge event, ladies and gentlemen, on July 14th. It's going to be at Turner Hall. Tickets available right now, tickets.com. And we hope to be sharing with you some details in the next few weeks about our plans, PWR's plans, for that big day, July 14th at Turner Hall, when Ring of Honor returns for the first time in 8 years. Who are you looking most forward to seeing on July 14th from Ring of Honor Wrestling?
Maria Kanellis.
The First Lady of Ring of Honor.
She's amazingly beautiful.
She is.
Yes.
She is. And last time we had the chance to see her was in the suite at WrestleMania as her and Mike Bennett joined us.
I look forward to seeing Jay Lethal. Mm-hmm. Maybe Rhino might be there.
I have to have a very important conversation with Roderick Strong because he's almost achieved a level of...
Endorsementness?
I didn't say that because I don't leak that kind of information, but I need to... I need to go through the final evaluation process with him. And last but certainly least, of course, is this week's Star of the Week. So David Herro, please entertain us all.
This week's PWR Star of the Week is the man, the myth, the legend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Charisma Christian. Not only did he go on and win, like I said earlier, the big battle royal on Over the Limit, but he defeats the endorsed super friend, Cody Rhodes, sets him back a little bit. Christian leaves the pay-per-view Sunday with the Intercontinental Championship.
Fluke.
Goes on, has a big victory on Friday against Hunico or
Handful of
Camacho.
tights. Had a handful of tights.
So why not? Why can't it be? Why can't it be Captain Charisma? This week's PWR Star of the Week, Christian.
Yeah, about that. I want to remind all of you watching us here on My 24 Milwaukee that you can also watch the Wednesday edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime at our website, pwrshow.com, Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock p.m., exclusively at our website, pwrshow.com.